Cabin Fever.
Fiddling ain't nothing like it. And some of the best fiddlers reign from right here in the South. Ah, but here's a twist. This talented group of musicians is from the Boston area of Massachusetts. They travel up and down the East Coast playing their brand of country licks. And they say that the sound is popular everywhere they go.
It's kind of just ties in with people like trying to settle down a little bit and get back to, you know, get serious. There was a period of time when people were like doing a lot of experimenting and just trying a lot of different things, and I think there's sort of a backlash against this sort of random experimentation you see in, you know, the way people are dressing, except for like new wave punk rockers and things like that. They're still experimenting, I guess, but
I got into it a lot out of necessity. The playing fiddle tends to lend itself to country music, and or violin, but in a country application, I guess it's called fiddle. And I basically am into it because I enjoy it.
Well, pride is a bitch anymore when you're lonely. She madness prevails upon reason to give. But all is not.
Collectively, they're known as Cabin Fever. They're all now truly dedicated to a musical career, but it didn't start off that way for some of them.
I've been going to school at Georgia Tech studying architecture, and I started coming to the realization that my ideas about what architecture was all about, it was sort of maybe a fantasy or something, like you had these dreams about building these great buildings and everything, and came to find out that there was a lot of sort of tedious work, a lot of drafting, a lot of mathematics and all that stuff, and I wasn't really turned on by it anymore, and I started getting more and more into music. And so I left school and moved on to playing music and found, you know, like, hey, this is great. I worked in an architect's office and was falling asleep at the drafting table and everything. I get out and I almost never fall asleep on stage.
Playing in a band means long stretches of road traveling between gigs, late hours playing in clubs, and catching sleep when you can. Music is a way of life to these guys, and a lot of what they play is original. If they can get the audience going with their own music, it makes the evening even nicer. One of these days, they want to get something down on plastic. On a recording, that is. And I was curious to know if it's important for them to have a hit record.
Yes. If it sold a lot of records, if a record sold a lot of copies, it would mean, and a lot of people bought it, it would mean that somehow I had, or that we as a band, say, had accomplished the art of getting emotions on plastic, which is quite an accomplishment, I think. I think that's good.
Well, I must admit that after listening to Cabin Fever Jam, I thought they were pulling my leg as to where they're from. Surely there's a Boston, Georgia, or a Boston, Mississippi, but no. Boston, Massachusetts is where they're from. When they go and move the Mason-Dixon line.